And here in South Korea, authorities are partaking in international efforts as well as exploring domestic options to better address the energy market implications of the violence in the Middle East. Our Park Jun-han explains.
South Korea plans to release 22.46 million barrels of oil from its strategic reserves as part of a coordinated action by member countries of the International Energy Agency aimed at stabilizing global energy markets. The plan was announced on Wednesday by the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Resources shortly after the 32-member nations of the Paris-based agency unanimously agreed to carry out the largest collective oil stock release in the organization's history. In total, about 400 million barrels of oil will be made available to the market in an effort to ease supply disruptions and curb rising crude prices linked to the ongoing war involving the United States and Israel against Iran. Korea's contribution represents about 5.6% of the total to be released. The size of each country's release is calculated based on its share of overall oil consumption among IEA members. The U.S. Energy Department also issued a press release saying the administration would release 172 million barrels of oil from its reserves. Officials say the timing and detailed schedule of the coordinated release will be determined in the coming days. The decision comes as global oil markets continue to show volatility despite expectations of increased supply. Oil prices surged for a second consecutive day. On Wednesday, Brent crude rose 4.8% to around $92 per barrel on the Intercontinental Exchange in London. As of Thursday, 3:30 p.m. Korean Standard Time, it is trading at about $98.2, up 6.75% in just a few hours. WTI crude also climbed 4.6% to settle at around $87 per barrel on the New York Mercantile Exchange. And as of the same time on Thursday, it had risen to over $93, gaining more than 6.6%. As oil supply chain risks persist and oil prices continue to climb, the government announced planned market stabilization measures. The first possibility is a supplementary budget dedicated to those who are highly vulnerable to oil price hikes. If introduced, an additional budget of up to 15 to 20 trillion won, or around $10 to $13.5 billion, could be allocated. The funding could be used to expand the scope of fuel tax reductions, provide oil price-linked support for low-income workers, expand energy voucher assistance, offer subsidies for the transportation industry, including trucks and buses, and support export-oriented small and medium-sized enterprises. A temporary price cap on domestic oil is another option the government will announce. According to its own guidelines, appropriate price levels that the government thinks ideal would be at 1,800 won per liter, or around $1.22. However, the price level would be reviewed every 2 weeks to reflect any changes in global oil prices. With more details to follow, Finance Minister Koo said the government will mobilize all available policy tools and activate an emergency economic response system to address the situation in real time. Park Jun-han, Arirang News.